Welcome back to Deeper Than Most, guys. I'm your host, DJ.
And I'm your host, Sam.
And we're bringing you Mythology Mashup.
We are on episode 66, and we're bringing back the myth mashups. But today we're doing Roman.
Ooh, one that we've actually been kind of like skipping over.
Hell yeah, honestly.
It's kind of funny. I don't know why we haven't like done it until now.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it was just cool for us to dive into lesser known myth origins just because they're lesser known. Like, not a lot of people know about them or even know that they exist, and don't know the details or the stories behind them.
Right.
But everybody knows and loves Roman mythology, and that's what we're getting into today. So this is going to be really, really fun.
Sure. Oh, yeah. So, guys, it's that time again where we're asking you to send us in some questions so we can answer them. So, by all means, please do. You can reach us on our Instagram at Deeper Than Most PC. You can send them to the Facebook group, which is the official Deeper Than Most podcast page.
Or drop them in the comments below on any of our videos.
Matter of fact, if you do that, your question might be one of the first ones to get read.
Definitely. Also, side note, your girl is red. I'm red and it feels good. I kind of like it. It's a horror story of how I got here, though. But we'll save that for another day.
Alright, so this week we have two DOMs. The first one is privacy threat. So, in the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to end women's constitutional right to abortion, tech companies like Google are moving to close loopholes that allow personal data brokers to sell and monitor information. And this is information that could be used to police abortion restrictions. So in layman's terms, Google is putting a stop to these motherfuckers selling your information.
Good, as they should have been doing. It shouldn't take the ban of abortion to have them do this.
Exactly. It's kind of disgusting, honestly.
The fact that they were doing it to begin with is what's disgusting. Like, nobody asked them to, nobody consented to it. But here we are, all just being used as a pawn.
Google has stated that it will automatically delete records of user visits to sensitive locations, including abortion clinics.
Good.
Which is great. Honestly, the fact that there are private brokers that can just sell and monitor your information already is scary enough. But the fact that Google is taking the steps to like stop that is pretty cool.
Yeah. But doesn't Google still play a part in all of this?
Oh,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Aren't they still doing it too?
Yeah.
Our next DOM is men rushing to snip. According to a recent Men's Health article, urologists say that men are rushing to get vasectomies in the wake of abortion bans in several states, which is honestly great. But men should have been getting vasectomies. They're reversible, so men, get on it. There are reportedly some clinics seeing a 300 to 400% spike in people looking to receive consultations for the reversible procedure. That's awesome. The more, the merrier.
I think that's cool that there are guys out there that are like, fuck this, man. We got to get this shit cut. Cause,
Would you?
Hell yeah.
So those were our DOMs for this week. And also, before we get into our Roman myth mashup, we hope that you guys had a safe 4th of July.
Hopefully your house ain't burned down.
Yeah.
Your house ain't burned down. Y'all being good with the fireworks. I ain't heard no.
Yeah.
Lately.
Drop in the comments what you ended up doing for the holiday. We're probably not doing much. It's not our cup of tea. I'm always down to see fireworks just because who doesn't love fireworks, but that's the extent. Fireworks and eating good. Now, let's roll into this Roman myth mashup. And before we get into our deities, which we have 2 each, we're going to tell you guys a little bit of background information about Roman mythology.
So, Roman mythology, like Greek, contained a lot of gods and goddesses. The early influence of Greece on the Italian peninsula and constant contact with Greek culture caused the Romans to create their own stories, and this also caused them to rename some of the Greek deities.
Which is why they have a lot of deities that symbolize similar things or literally the exact same thing, but those deities always have different names.
Also, the mythology originated in the 4th century BC. And once again, we don't know what the fuck BC means, but it's there.
And I ain't trying to figure it out unless you drop it in the comments in simple terms, okay? We have 4 deities total. And our first one is, I don't know if it's Fortuna or Fortuna, but I'm going to say Fortuna. Our first one is Fortuna. She is the goddess of chance and luck. She is easily equated to the Greek goddess Tyche, and Tyche is an ancient goddess of the Italic Peninsula. So, basically what you were just talking about, all of this originated in the same region. Whether that's Greek, whether that's Roman, and there's another one too.
Persian as well.
Yes. Yeah, it's all in the same area. So that's why a lot of the stories are similar. Like we said earlier, a lot of the characteristics of the gods and goddesses are very similar. And the belief systems are pretty similar too. Fortuna is associated to both Bona, which is good, and Mala, which is bad fortune, chance, and luck. So she can represent good fortune, bad fortune, good chances, bad chances, good luck, and bad luck. And that's crazy. That's like a really big toss-up.
It's literally whatever you get is what you got.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. She's depicted holding a scepter, and a scepter is basically just a decorated staff or a cane. And she also is holding on to the rudder and helm of a ship.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either. But we could look it up.
For sure.
Oh! So the helm is the steering wheel, basically.
Oh.
Yeah. The rudder is an underwater vane that's used to steer the vessel. I'm assuming the rudder is basically like your little spin dial at the bottom that kind of tells you like left, right.
Yeah.
Whatever, forward, backwards type of deal. But then the helm is like literally the steering wheel on a ship. Because of this, things that relate to this goddess are wings and wheels. Wings, I'm not sure why, but wheels make sense if she's holding a helm. This goddess has about 10 other known names, depending on who and when her protective powers have been displayed to people. So these names include Bona, Felix, Redux, and Regina. It is believed she was the firstborn of the gods, which would be something that can attest to her antiquity. Evidence shows that Fortuna was worshipped by people during Rome's earliest days, if not even earlier than that. So she's been around.
I mean, that makes sense though, because people always talk about, oh, it may just be luck. Maybe my luck. Maybe this and that. So I could see it.
She has temples in her honor that feature oracles to divine people's fortunes. She is Jupiter's firstborn, and she was widely worshipped in Italy and had a few major shrines at Praenest and Antium. And Praenest and Antium are basically just places in Italy, the small towns. But she has a couple of major shrines dedicated to her in both of those places. Nice. And those are in Italy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I ain't never heard of her, like, for real.
She has a day dedicated to her, which is June 11th, but her day of festival is June 24th. She has altars at bathhouses where Romans would gamble, and because of this, she is somewhat connected to being the goddess of gambling. Because I don't think there necessarily was a goddess of gambling before her, but with Romans putting her shrines and her altars in these bathhouses where they would gamble for good luck. Yeah, she definitely quickly became associated with good luck. Especially people that were winning. They were like, yeah, it's because of Fortuna. Going to bow down at the altar after they win big.
Some of that little winnings up there.
Hell yeah, probably.
Our next deity is Janus, and he is the god of doors. Doors and everything else, that is.
And everything else, literally.
I mean, basically. So, he's one of the earliest Roman deities. He's probably the first one you'd see if you were going through a transition. He's commonly referred to as the god of doorways, gateways, and transitions. In Roman myth, he represents the middle ground between both concrete and abstract dualities, and this can mean life and death, beginning and end, war and peace, and overall beginning and transitions.
I really like that. Especially, I'm noticing that with Roman mythology is the dualities of the deities.
Right.
The fact that they represent something that could be good, but also the counterpart of that is what they represent as well. Like good luck, bad luck, war, peace, life, death. Like, it's very interesting because you either represent one or the other. So the fact that most of these deities probably represent both of what they mean is pretty cool. Which means that there's probably less deities, right?
Honestly, I think with the Roman mythology, I think there are a total of like 12, if I'm not mistaken.
There's way more than 12, because when I was looking at my list of female goddesses, it was more than 12 itself.
He was known as the initiator of human life and the transformation between stages of life.
Stages as in from like a child to a teenager to an adult. Okay.
Janus guarded the heaven's gates and was the only one to hold access to the other gods and heaven itself. So like I mentioned, he'd probably be the first one you'd see.
Right.
Like you have to
the gates.
Yeah, you have to go through him to get to everybody else.
He'd be like, all right, I'm going to get you some popcorn, sit down and watch this replay, and you tell me if you deserve to go through the gate.
Oof. Oof.
That'd be wild. Like, you just sit there and replay your whole life. He's sitting there watching it with you, and at the end, he grabs his little remote, click it off, and ask you, so what do you think? What would your answer be? Are you going through those pearly gates or not? Because I don't know if I would.
As the Roman god of beginnings, Janus is the reason the month of January has its name. He's often portrayed as having two faces. One is bearded, and the other is a younger, bare face. One faces the past, and the other faces the future. He can also be seen holding a key in his right hand, which symbolizes his protection of doors. He also is seen with a chicken for some reason. I don't know why. But
That's weird.
He's also seen with a chicken. Janus even has his own coin. So,
that's pretty cool.
Interesting fact. He's the first god amongst the gods and humans to actually mint coins, which means make coins. So he just made one with his face on it, and they just started using that.
And getting his Harriet Tubman on.
Literally. And that's been Janus, or January, or yeah.
I like that.
If you like that, you're going to love this, because now we're going to take a minute to thank our sponsors, and we will see you soon.
Have you heard about Anchor? It's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free and easy to use.
It has creation tools that allow for recording and editing straight from your phone or computer. This means you can view your listener count, upload vidcasts, and personalize your show, making it the best user experience around.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so many more, making it so you don't have to do it individually.
You can even monetize the podcast without minimum listenership.
Anchor has all the tools to make a podcast in one place, like adding files, sound effects, and audience messages.
So download Anchor today at anchor.fm, and that's anchor.fm, ANCHOR.fm.
So what are you doing? Start your own podcast now.
And we're back.
Like a Roman butt crack. But before we continue, no, I'm about to fight you on this because
Pepto-Bismol is disgusting.
Let us know if you like Pepto-Bismol or not. Compared to other medicines, I personally feel like Pepto-Bismol is the best medicine we got out there in terms of taste.
Really?
Yes. Yes. What's better than Pepto?
That shit disgusting. I mean, Tylenol can taste better than that shit.
No, we're not talking about pills. I'm talking about
there's a liquid form of Tylenol.
That shit nasty. All them little berry flavored fucking liquids. No, that shit tastes like poison.
So does Pepto-Bismol.
No, it doesn't. It's sweet and creamy.
Shit, disgusting is what it is.
You disgusting. Let us know what you guys think. Pepto-Bismol, is it good or bad compared to other medicines?
We talking in terms of taste.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get into our last two deities. So our third one is Feronia. She is the goddess of fertility, abundance, earth, freedoms, sports, and recreation. And I just love everything that she represents. Yeah, this is gonna be good. Symbols associated to her include fire and coal, which is very odd and strange, but it'll make sense as we continue. She's technically the Roman fire goddess. It's believed that Feronia provides fertility and abundance even in the harshest of times. So basically, if there's a plague or something, like that one baby that's born is probably because of Feronia. Right. Like that type of situation. When one is bored, Feronia swoops in bearing festive energies and Earth's riches as a pick-me-up.
Hey, that's fire. I fuck with that. Hey, y'all saying y'all gloomy here. Let's have some
flowers,
fun. You get a bouquet. You get a bouquet.
According to Roman tradition, she is the patron and liberator of slaves or anything that is meant to enslave us. And I loved that.
She must be black.
She's not, but it'd be even cooler if she was. Every November 13th, plebeian games opened in Rome with all types of sports competitions. The festivities honored Feronia and her liberating nature. I just love how these places that like so strongly hold on to their belief in mythology actually like incorporated into their real lives. Like I don't even think America has mythological creatures besides like Native American mythology. Yes. Which we need to get into that soon. We don't ever have festivals or, like celebrations or altars or shrines for these deities. And I'm pretty sure it's because of Christianity. Because a lot of these go against, like, religious belief. If you're believing in gods and goddesses. It was believed that orchards, fields, volcanoes, and thermal springs were her places of rest, so that's where she would just spend her little free time, minding her business.
Now, the springs in the fields and the orchards, I can get behind, but volcanoes,
she's the goddess of fire, though.
I mean, yeah.
The fairs dedicated to this goddess included many sentimental activities in respect of her. First fruits were offered, freedom was bestowed onto slaves, and men walked barefoot across coal as crowds cheered them on. But it sounds like a very joyous and celebratory thing to be a part of. Damn, wish I was there. That would have been lit. Fresh fruit, seeing the slaves finally be free, like men walking barefoot on hot coal, like that's some shit to see. Many think that Feronia was a goddess who had been around for longer than most think. She may date back to the era before Rome, the vestigial Etruscan era. She has major sanctuaries in central Italian areas where Etruscans once lived. Speaking of shit that people don't know, France and Italy are two separate places.
Huh? Wait, what?
Yes, there's people that think that like Italy is in France.
You're not serious.
Yeah, I was watching this little TikTok mashup on YouTube, and yeah, it was like the dumbest things an American has said to you. And it was like this girl saying she was from Paris or whatever. The person was saying that Paris was in Italy when Paris is in France.
How the fuck? Okay.
Yeah. It was a mess. But anyways, they're two separate places.
Just for reference, guys, Italy is that country at the bottom that looks like a boot.
Yeah. And in Italy, they speak Italian. And in France, they speak French. So those are two different languages as well. So that was the goddess Feronia.
We're going to get into our final deity. Not too much on her, but
short and sweet.
She's just as nice. Her name is Flora, and she is the goddess of flowers. She is seen as the goddess of flowers, and specifically the spring season.
What's your favorite season?
Spring.
Oh, really? Why?
For a lot of reasons. I love, it has a lot of things in it that I like. I love seeing flowers bloom. I love the weather. And cherry blossoms are my favorite.
For me, my favorite season is fall, for sure. I just love the festivities, like Halloween, just everything that happens around the fall and the leaves turning and all the beautiful colors of just nature. And like we said, it's like the cycle of life, like the leaves dying, and then when spring rolls around, they grow. But just kind of seeing them serve their purpose and, letting go for the next batch. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just love all the things you can do in the fall, and it's just a really pretty time. I feel like.
No. I feel like spring and fall are the best
top
seasons.
tier.
Yeah.
Let us know what your favorite season is.
And why?
Yeah.
She is one of several fertility goddesses, but her importance comes during the spring season, the season of rejuvenation and the cycle of life. She is often depicted in a flowy dress, covered in flowers, and holding a bouquet of flowers at that. Her main flower of choice is the Mayflower.
Nice.
She has a festival named Floralia that is held from April 28th to May 3rd. And during the festival, they just celebrate. They eat fruits, they bring gifts and offerings and all that cool stuff.
Nice. Come together right now.
And that's been Flora, the goddess of flowers.
Hell yes. And that was our Roman myth mashup.
Baby.
Hell yeah. Wow, I just love doing these mashups. And before we get into our wiggity wind down, I just want to ask you, like, how you been feeling about this podcast? Like, you know, how are you feeling about this year? I know we've been doing little updates here and there because at the beginning of this year, we said this was going to be the year of abundance. I mean, not abundance. This is going to be the year of elevation. And let's just say DTM has been elevating.
That motherfucker been hitting the roof.
It's been hitting. But yeah, how do you feel about the podcast?
I'm going to say this like I always say. This is the podcast of the century, people. And if you're not on the wave, you better get on that bitch, because I don't know what to tell you. Like, this shit steady going up. Like, we're flying right now. I'm enjoying the show a lot. I don't know about y'all, but I'm loving it. How you feel about it?
I love the show too, and I'm just ready to see what else we have in store. I mean, we know what we have in store, but y'all don't know. And that's the exciting part about it. We definitely want to drop merch eventually. Only if you guys are interested in it, of course. And, you know, we want to continue to grow. We want to have guests. We want to build our community with you guys and our audience. And just keep elevating. Keep striving. Keep covering cases. Keep motivating people. Keep educating where we can. Keeping the laughter going and the jokes. Like, that's what we're all about. And keeping it real. So we're going to keep doing that. And I'm just so excited for episode 100. Y'all just don't know what we're doing. Something completely different and y'all ain't ready.
With that being said, let's get into our wiggity wind down. And we have 4 this time around. So the first one reads, which do you like more? Greek or Roman mythology?
Oof. I'm gonna have to go Greek. I'm a basic bitch. I said this last time on episode 3 when we actually did our Greek mythology. That was episode 3, huh? Damn, that was a long ass time ago. But yeah, I said it then. I'm gonna say it now. I'm a basic bitch and I love Greek mythology.
I mean, I'd be down to get dressed up in a fucking toga and go to a Greek toga party. Like,
so you going Greek too?
I feel like Greek is the way to go.
Roman is cool and all, but anything that Roman has or did was from Greek mythology. Our second wind down is, which deity had the coolest purpose to you?
Personally, I like Fortuna.
The deity that had the coolest purpose to me was definitely Feronia.
Oh, damn. I said
Deity
Fortuna. That's what I meant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well then there we go. We agree. Both of us love Feronia. The fact that she was advocating for slaves around this time period, and basically just equality and turning up festivals. Yeah, I'm all for Feronia.
Wind down number 3. What is one thing you learned from this episode?
The January was named after a Roman deity. The fact that January was named after the Roman deity Janus, I did not know that, and it makes a lot of sense, given what Janus represents.
Yeah, I would say that's the big thing for me. That's what I learned upon doing the research. But I also knew beforehand that most of our calendar is because of the Romans. Like, they're the reason that we have the calendar and the months anyway.
We're going to get into our last wind down, which is, do you believe the DOMs in today's episode are good solutions to the problem at hand? Hell no. That ain't enough.
Gotta do more, folks. What the fuck? Granted, there are steps in what seems like the right direction, but okay, that's cool. What else?
That's it. That's all.
That's it. That's all.
And before we jump into our kind words and support, we just want to remind you that yes, we are doing a Q&A very, very soon. And if you want to get shouted out in our Q&A, go ahead and send us a question. You can email it to us. You can DM us. You can comment under one of our episodes. Just get in touch and ask us anything. Literally anything. It could be whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't have to be a certain topic or anything. So
just to do our kind words, I'd say my kind words are shit, man. Be as happy as you can right now. Shit tough, shit hard. But go in that refrigerator, get that food, eat it, enjoy your favorite show, and just enjoy yourself, man. Don't be sad all the time.
My kind words would be support your community, support the people near you and around you, whether that be through community service or handing out food to the homeless or, I don't know, helping pay for somebody's food in the fast food line. Like anything, just small acts of kindness, because right now is a time where people need it. People need the help. People need the support, and people need the love and the kindness. And if there is a time to do those things, now is the time. Yeah. And that goes for anybody, anywhere.
Speaking of support, if you're going to support the show, be sure to leave a like. Make sure you're commenting. Share it with your friends, your mom's dog, everybody. Share it. Make sure you are leaving ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, we have an Instagram at Deeper Than Most PC. Make sure you're following us. This has been episode 66, which means you have 65 other episodes to check out, along with our short stuff bonuses. And if you ain't checking the show out, what the fuck are you doing?
Honestly.
But with all that being said, stay light, stay bright, and stay positive. I've been your host, DJ.
And I'm your host, Sad.
Catch us next time on Deeper Than Most.